Let me start the recording here. All right, so this we're gonna be reacting to Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City was not good. If it's the is that the one where the I can't remember the hot lady. I can't remember. Was it yeah, let's go to Welcome to Raccoon City. It was a wait, that's a 2021 film? What the hell? Yo, can I get a synopsis on that one? Welcome to Raccoon City. What's about a booming pharmaceutical umbrella company? Wait, it's a 2021 film? What? I guess I haven't seen this one, so I can't tell you my opinion about it. Can I watch it? It seems I need to watch it with a free trial on what? On Stars. I have to quote unquote try Stars in order for me to watch it. No, thank you. All right, so I have not seen this movie before. I thought we were talking about like, the Johansson one, right? The sexy girl doing the Resident Evil series. Apparently this is not it. So let's see why Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City was not good. Oh shit, what the hell? I feel like that's a little loud. I don't know if it is. Let me know if it is. I feel like that shit's a little loud. I'll turn that down. Oh yeah, what happened? Why you not liking it, buddy? Tell me about it.
The title of this video summarizes how I feel.
Damn. You upsetty spaghetti.
Welcome to Raccoon City last night, and I 5 pages here worth of notes.
5 pages? Damn! My dude did homework.
Just everything that was going through my head, and I had semi-low expectations for the movie, while at the same time, I was cautiously excited. I thought, maybe it is going to be really good. I mean, it looks like Resident Evil. It sounds like Resident Evil. It's got characters from the games. The creative team was touting how insanely faithful to the video game adaptations it would be.
Okay.
And although I've definitely seen worse movies, it wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
Welcome to Raccoon City.
Damn.
And I always make fun of how inaccurate the Paul Anderson movies were.
Listen, but Paul Anderson movie was hot. Let's be honest. As a child, when I was watching that movie, all I saw was the, hot booty cheeks and shower scenes and the beautiful girl doing beautiful things. I didn't care how accurate that shit was. I enjoyed all the sexy action.
Ridiculously over the top and not Resident
But
Evil.
Because it wasn't Bio/Resident Evil, it had its own little shenanigans to it that I enjoyed. It wasn't canonically accurate at all. Like if you're talking about it in a canonical sense, it was dog shit. But from a just kind of like an enjoyable bad movie, I think it was pretty good. I think it was a good movie, but it wasn't like a good movie. You get what I'm trying to say?
But somehow, I found the first 2 more enjoyable than this movie.
See, he gets it, and that's insane. Yeah, that's insane. They must be that bad if Welcome to Raccoon City is bad.
This movie was the fact that it takes on too much. It's exactly the same concern I had with the movie when all the story bits started first coming out. It feels rushed, and at the same time, it drags. They were so focused on mushing multiple storylines together that should have clearly been 2 different movies, instead of taking their time with one high-quality movie and then maybe setting up a sequel. That's what the games did, and it worked tremendously there. We literally have the template right in front of us on how to make a Resident Evil movie, and for some reason, they can't just get it right. Before I continue on, there's going to be spoilers in this. Keep that in mind.
It's okay, friend. Hit me with the spoiler.
How frustrating it is watching this movie as a fan without spoiling some key plot points.
Okay, I love you, buddy.
On a positive note. Let's go ahead and start talking
about positive note. Okay.
Because it did genuinely do some things well. It wasn't all bad. The main thing Welcome to Raccoon City has over the Paul Anderson movies is the horror elements. I wouldn't say the movie itself is a scary movie. But there's no Alice jumping from motorcycles with double machine guns and heavy metal music, karate kicking monsters and effortlessly blowing them away. None of that's in this movie. These are real people trying to survive an evening with guns that run out of ammo. They fall over, they scream, they panic, they get eaten, etc. And to enhance the horror aspect, the soundtrack does have this really moody, spooky tone to it that does a great job setting up the atmosphere, like
chicken jockey
about to go down. And the camera work was really well done too. There's certain shots that really stuck out in my mind, and it made the movie feel almost like a artsy grindhouse film. For example, there's one part where Claire is staring into the woods because she thought she saw something, and the camera looks kind of grainy, and it's slowly zooming into her face. Then you see the darkness in the woods, and it's slowly zooming into the darkness. And as a viewer, you're sitting there trying to make something out. Like, is there something there? Genuinely creepy little moments like that happen that do a great job setting up the tone of the atmosphere of the movie.
But we didn't see ass or titties, did we? That's the important part here. If we can see ass and titties, that makes a movie +1.
No complaints in that department. That's what I wanted out of a Resident Evil film, then nailed that part. The movie's also filled with a ton of Easter eggs that only fans are going to really pick out. Like Jill's eating a sandwich. She makes a Jill sandwich joke.
Jill sandwich!
A set of keys, and they're the keys from the police station in Resident Evil 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just like the police station from the games. It's got a giant statue that was very clearly CG, but there was a giant statue in the middle of the lobby, just like the games.
Okay.
Like it. Spencer Mansion looks like the games. There's a bunch of creepy hallways.
Spencer Mansion? What the fuck?
Everything looks like Resident Evil.
Okay.
Right. And another thing I really like, the movie takes place during an evening, and every once in a while it shows us what time it is, so you have these little time jumps throughout the movie, so it's really easy to keep track of where everyone is.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that.
That right there is the majority of what I did like about the movie. Those are very important things.
What the fuck? That's... Yo, you gave me, what, how many minutes? Hold up. You gave me... From 2 minutes to about 4 minutes, you gave me 2 minutes of compliment, and then you about to fucking spit all the criticisms in the world.
Like I mentioned in this review, a major, huge, enormous issue in this movie is the fact that it's quite literally the story of Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2 combined.
Yeah, the fact that he said Spencer Mansion, I was like, what are you talking about? This is Raccoon City.
The mansion incident from Resident Evil 1 didn't happen months before. It's happening at the same time as the Raccoon City outbreak. They're all happening together. So while Claire and Leon are running around Raccoon City trying to survive, you've got Chris and the STARS team in the mansion doing their thing. It's not a flashback. It's all happening concurrently.
Yes.
That in itself isn't the issue I thought it would be, because the movie does make them happening at the same time make some sort of sense, story-wise. However, because that's the way they chose to handle that story, just like I feared, the Spencer Mansion incident feels like a complete afterthought. It's there, and some of the scenes are actually really cool. For example, there's one scene where Chris is by himself in the mansion in the dark. There's zombies all around them. He's freaking out. So he's struggling to get them off him. He's shooting. His lighter's going on and off. You can't see anything.
Okay.
It's complete chaos. And that whole scene, I'm just thinking like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is a Spencer Mansion Resident Evil movie.
But was that visible, though? That's the question. When you watch that movie, when you watch that scene, was it just a man flickering his lighter and then just kind of having an ominous, or did you get to see the character's emotion while this is going through it?
This is good. And the second I started thinking that, boom, they cut back to Leon and Claire wandering around the city. And that was the entire movie. Anytime there was something interesting going on in the Spencer Mansion, cut back to Leon and Claire wandering around. This movie should have been 100% Resident Evil 1 focused. Just make a really good horror movie just based on the mansion portion. And seeing everything else for later, it would have done wonders for this movie, because the Spencer Mansion moments in this movie, that's what I wanted to watch. But I get it. Movie reviews shouldn't be about what you want. It should be about what you get. But that's where the problem lies.
Okay.
You give us little slices of something interesting and then cut to something not interesting. And combining both stories into one movie, which in this case, I wrote it down, is a 1 hour and 47 minute long movie, including credits.
What?
Is a 1 hour and 47 minute long movie, including credits.
Okay. and you're about to bust it down. Not gonna lie, my ADHD is activating. He needs to speak faster. So we're gonna go double time, boys. Double time. He's gonna go fast. Get ready.
You've got that long to tell the entire story of Resident Evil 1 and 2. So, of course, you're going to have drastic cuts to the story, drastic cuts to the characters. There's no Barry, there's no Rebecca, most of Bravo team is missing, except Richard, who basically replaces Barry on Alpha Team.
What?
Shows up as a body. He's the Kenneth of the movie. Dooley is the Bravo pilot. He's just a zombie in one quick scene, and the only reason you know it's him is because they say Dooley. There's so much backstory missing. The movie...
Wait, so they just gutted, like, the side characters of Raccoon City that hard?
Barely explains anything.
And then they gutted both
lore details.
What?
So much stuff is going to fly in your head. They don't even attempt to explain it. It very briefly mentions the T virus.
Ooh, I love T virus.
It's never really clear what it even does. We just know it's...
To be perfectly honest, though, like... Resident Evil movies should not have to constantly explain T-Virus. They should just say it's a spooky shit, right? Like, it's the same concept of you should not retell the Batman story over and over and over. They should definitely give it a brief explanation, but they shouldn't, like, get fawned over it. That's what I think about the T-Virus.
And then the G-Virus shows up
at
the end with zero explanation to the audience that there even was another virus. And you really have no idea what the difference is because they don't say anything about it.
And I think that's okay, because you know why? It's just a movie. And simultaneously, they should have just, to make it simplified, instead of a T or a G, they should have just said it's the more enhanced version of the virus.
The reason the G virus is in the movie, which by the way is like the last 5 or 10 minutes of the movie, is so you can have final boss Birkin appear. In fact, that entire third act felt like it was in fast forward.
What? You only saw Birkin once? That's insane.
The characters taking their time, creating the feel of the universe. But yeah, then they're stuck in a situation where they got to finish the story in 1 hour and 47 minutes. So they just hit fast forward and let it tell itself. As far as the monsters are concerned, you know, as a Resident Evil fan, that there's a ton of different monsters. Was worked on. There's zombies, there's all sorts of stuff. Welcome to Raccoon City has an incredible lack of variety. Yes, zombies. I think there were exactly 2 dogs in the movie. I don't think.
Hey, let's go. We love 2 dogs.
That show up. There are no hunters.
No hunters.
No giant snake.
Well, let's be honest. Having big ass snakes and big ass spiders in Spencer Mansion or Raccoon City kind of silly, in my opinion. Right? Who the fuck keeps a gigantic ass snake in Raccoon City?
No giant shark.
No giant shark. Oh, come on, man.
No Plant 42. No giant alligator.
That's a shame that there was no Plant 42. But, I mean, let's be honest, though, right? In live action sequence, you're not going to make this dream come true.
There is no nemesis, including no nemesis after credit scene. I keep hearing.
Wait, what? If it's Raccoon City, ain't it nemesis?
That. There's no
or what about Mr. Man, Mr. 2?
No Gravedigger.
Oh no.
Mr. X, no
yeah, where's my Esther X?
Tyrant. No.
Oh, no Tyrant.
There's a liquor though. The one you see in the trailer. Exactly one, and that's it. There's no more liquors, and it's a really quick scene. And Lisa Trevor, in the game, she's got this deep, interesting backstory.
Yeah, but Lisa Trevor, I'm gonna straight up tell you, that's also video game lore right
One of the
there.
Most characters in Resident Evil lore. We literally have none of that in the movie. We practically know nothing about Lisa in it. Absolute waste of an interesting character. And she does not come across stars, not once. She's not even around the Spencer Mansion like she's supposed to be. She's in the orphanage the whole time. Before I continue, let me bring up Mortal Kombat for a moment, because I know someone in the comment section that didn't finish the video before commenting is going to say, but you liked Mortal Kombat, that was quite different from the video games. That is true. The Mortal Kombat reboot was significantly different from the source material.
Yes.
But I also specified the movie had its issues. Cole Young, super boring character, nobody cares about him, completely uninteresting. The tournament didn't even happen in the movie.
Well, yeah, because it didn't fit.
But I still found some enjoyment in the movie because at its core, most of the main characters were still represented well and still very familiar to me.
Okay.
Or Shaolin Monk best bros. Sub-Zero was a terrifying.
Oh, was this movie low budget due to C-19? Really? That could make sense.
Assassin. Kano is still a dick that will betray anyone for the right price, and he does. If you change the story and the lore, you have to get the characters right. You have to. And this is where Resident Evil fails in some very important areas.
Yeah, who the fuck are these people?
Let me explain the...
Yo, titties? What is that? Is that a titty or a fake tit? What is that? What is that? Hello? Is that a titty or is that a fucking shadow? What is that?
Characters in Resident Evil, the Umbrella Corporation and Raccoon City. No, they're not people, but the presence of these two things cast a huge shadow in the entire Resident Evil universe.
Yes.
The Umbrella Corporation has almost no presence in this movie.
Oh,
sure, they talk about them.
Dog water.
You see the logos quite a bit, but you never feel them. It's almost like they're not even there. They don't feel like.
Yeah, they left because C-19. You know, it is what it is, guys.
Let's take for example, and I hate bring up the Paul Anderson movies.
Why do you hate Paulie Anderson movie? Dude, Resident Evil Milena Jovovich was great in Apocalypse.
But Resident Evil Apocalypse did a better job involving Umbrella.
Yes, sir.
In that movie, they're in a panic trying to deal with the outbreak. Executives are trying to evacuate higher-ups from Raccoon City. They're sending in the UBCS to rescue civilians. At the same time, they're unleashing monsters on the city to test them. Hence the explanation why there's lickers and such in the city, which this movie never explains either. None of that is here. There's no Umbrella presence besides Birkin, and all you know about him is that he's a scientist working on a virus. Literally nothing else. And Raccoon City has been represented both as a huge metropolitan.
Oh, what the hell? What is that?
Town, depending on which game you're playing.
Yeah, that's RE2.
Depicted as a city filled with the dead. Zombies completely filling the streets. A situation quickly spiraling out of control that had to be contained as soon as possible. Again, the Paul Anderson movie represented that aspect well. In Welcome to Raccoon City, and I assume this was done because of budget constraints.
What the fuck is that? Is that an actual scene? Ain't no shot.
Raccoon City feels empty. It's depicted as this shithole that Umbrella's leaving behind, and the only people left are the ones that are too poor to leave. There's no...
Dude, same.
City streets filled with zombies. It's just mostly empty, even after the outbreak. Some zombies show up at the police station gates. There's zombies inside the mansion. But instead of an entire city being infected with a deadly virus, it feels more like the block over by the bodega got infected. And that's it. Now,
block over by the bodega infection. Oh no!
Themselves. There's been a lot of debates about the casting of the actors. The actors chosen don't look like the characters. Leon is brown. How dare they? That's not
who
the problem
cares?
With this movie. I promise you, that's not the problem with this movie at all.
If the movie is dog shit, it doesn't matter who the character is.
Leon played by a guy as white as Casper, and I don't think it would have made a difference.
Yes, sir, I agree with that.
If they don't resemble them and somehow they still feel, act, and sound like the characters, I think that's all right. That's
true,
not what happened.
true.
For every character that they did get right, there's like 4 that they didn't.
Damn.
Redfield, very popular character in the video games. She's very much the main character of this story.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone shares screen time, but there is a
Claire Redfield wearing a red jacket. Okay.
heavy focus around
Where's
her.
the titties, though?
Her background. She's depicted as an orphan alongside Chris, of course, her
I mean, that looks like Chris-ish.
brother, which is in line with the video game lore. They were orphans, although we don't actually see that part of the storyline in the games ever. So we do get some backstory on her. She leaves Raccoon City, Chris stays and he becomes a cop. She becomes what Chris sees as a conspiracy theorist. She's convinced that Umbrella's up to no good in the city. Quite
That's
a bit
true.
different than Resident Evil 2 Claire, but I did like this interpretation of her character because I felt like it was inspired by Claire from Revelations 2 when she's
Oh my god, Revelation 2 Claire. I mean, that ain't bad.
with Terra Save. During that time frame, she's actually more of an investigator of sorts. So I thought that was a nice touch. Ben Bertolucci, instead of being a reporter that uncovered Umbrella, is also a conspiracy theorist that shares information with her in chat.
He's a nerd.
That was fine. It was cool seeing Chris and Claire together before they parted ways on their own night of terror. Chris was also really well done. I mean, he was Resident Evil 1 Chris. Boy Scout soldier man trying to do the right thing. Although now they have some weird connection where Birkin was like a father figure to him.
What the fuck?
The movie has a lot of these weird connections that didn't exist in the games. They don't really hurt the movie.
They like
fathers.
It's
kind of weird why they decided to do these things. But overall, I thought Chris and Claire were the most well-done characters. I didn't really have issues there. Chief Irons was the typical movie police chief yelling at his officers, telling them to get once the outbreak starts, he tries to bail out. No mention of any connection with Umbrella or anything. He tags along with Claire and Leon for a bit. Felt like kind of a waste of a character. And that's the problem with the characters. Besides Chris and Claire, the rest of them are just kind of there. They just exist.
Yeah, who's that? Who's this?
Jill, for example, they imply she has a thing for Wesker and that Chris has a thing for her, but it's just a brief mention.
Huh?
I'm not even sure why.
Is that Jill?
She doesn't really do much in the movie.
That's Jill?
Around asking what the fuck is going on every once in a while. It's hard to judge how an actor portrays a character if the character barely does anything in the movie. Richard Aiken lasted like 2 seconds in the mansion. He doesn't.
You can tell he's such a background character when this is the only good shot you can have for him. That's crazy.
Do anything either. Same with Brad Vickers. He's their pilot. Nothing else matters about the character. I already talked about Bravo Team, or the lack of Bravo Team. Birkin and his family, Annette Birkin and Sherry, completely unimportant.
What? Birkin and Sherry's unimportant? That's unfortunate.
Working on viruses alongside William. She's just a mom that's oblivious to what Birkin was working on. And Sherry played such an important role in Resident Evil 2.
Yes, sir.
Was essential to the story. She's Birkin's daughter still, but she has no importance. She's just a little girl that the good guys find at the very end of the movie. She wasn't by herself the whole time. And the good guys take her with them. There's no other...
Nice. You know, Ohana means send him to the government.
...reason for her role in the movie. The two worst examples, though, and I want to clarify that it wasn't the actors.
Worst.
It was the way they were written. Leon and Wesker.
Okay.
Ruined Leon and Wesker.
Okay.
Leon did almost nothing.
Okay.
In this movie, they play up the rookie card constantly, and they make...
So is this Leon?
Make him almost completely incompetent, getting made fun of by other cops. Before all this happened, he accidentally shot his partner in the ass, and they moved him to another department.
What the fuck?
The joke. He spends a lot of time whining and following Chief Irons around. He looks like he genuinely has no idea what's going on throughout the whole movie, and all he does is follow Claire around as she takes charge and takes the lead as Warrior Woman.
Hey, listen, Warrior Woman is what we need these days, but I mean, let's be honest, the modern era Warrior Woman, not the best fan archetype style I like to go for.
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
I want more Jovovich.
In the game, he was a rookie, but he still ended up being really good at his job and took command of the...
And yeah, Leon slided into Ada. Hey, where's Ada?
Situation.
We got Ada?
Alive alongside Ada, who's, by the way, not in the main portion of this movie.
Oh my god.
I might as well say that.
Bruh. I love Ada. Ada, go. What? My sexy girl Asian Ada don't exist? What is this?
The of Leon is genuinely an awful representation of the character, to the point where he's unrecognizable, and none of this has to do with his physical looks. He's only Leon in terms of he's a cop and he's a rookie. That's it. And Wesker, oh my god.
What the fuck is that? Why is it described as that?
Don't even get started with this one. Wesker is the ultimate Resident Evil villain.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, he's like the badass bad guy.
Scumbag that was affiliated with Umbrella.
Yes, sir.
Turn on them in a second for his own benefit.
Wesker yes, sir.
Cares about nobody but Wesker. He led stars to the mansion specifically so they're destroyed. He does not care about his teammates. They are literally just pawns to him. None, I repeat, none of that is in this movie. In Welcome to Raccoon City, Wesker cares about his teammates. He's a sympathetic villain that betrays them for money. Just for...
Damn. Wesker goes, I love you, but I love money.
For a chance to be able to live a life outside of Raccoon City.
Wait, is that Wesker? Wait, hold up. Is that Wesker? This better not be Wesker.
Now, you might be wondering, okay, well, he pretended to care about them in the original. You know, he was pretending to be their commander, and then he flips. No, but in this movie, he actually does care about them. His betrayal comes so sudden, with no buildup whatsoever.
Oh, just straight up. Look at him. This is when you know, like, he's a traitor. He got an MP5 when he was with his friends, but when he's by himself, he pulls out the pistol.
Literally one scene to the next. He's like, hey, I'm going to betray you guys. And Jill's like, what's going on? And during his death scene, let me put air quotes on that. Not really a spoiler because every fan knows that he dies. Again, put quotes around that in the Spencer Mansion. During his death scene, he's apologizing to Chris and Jill over what he did. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I think that's exactly what he said, too. I'm sorry, man. Chris is looking at Wesker dying all sad. Jill's crying over him. When you ruin Wesker like that, there is no coming back.
I'm sorry, man.
Back from that. Imagine, for a second, if you will, making a Mortal Kombat movie. And as Kano is dying, he's apologizing to Sonya Blade for everything he's done as Jax is comforting her. They made Kano a good guy. That's what Resident Evil did with Wesker.
Kano a good guy is insane. I died as one of your allies.
I keep hearing about how incredibly faithful it is to the source material, and it's just...
Wait, people say that's a faithful to the source material?
It has to be, though. You can still make a movie that's not necessarily faithful, but you still have to have something there that's interesting with well-developed characters.
I agree with that.
Here, it's just not, and it's incredibly frustrating as a fan that it seems like Hollywood just can't get Resident Evil right. When
Hollywood doesn't want to get Resident Evil right because if they do, it's too close to the truth. Let's be honest, guys. If Hollywood does a one-to-one recreation of any Resident Evil, that shit is way too close to the truth for them, so they will never get Resident Evil one-to-one.
Whenever you have Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 1, the video games, as a template. That's all you need is right there. And
I mean, let's be honest. Halo was there too, but you know, Master Chief's. We saw more cheek of Master Cheeks than any other cheek, and we lost fucking Reach because he wanted some Covenant spy pussy. Like, it's, you know, let's be honest. Live action's dog shit. Not all of them, but most of them.
And you don't even need all the weird Dr. Marcus Leach stuff. You can cut that out completely and still have a really good horror movie that leads into something bigger. But instead, what happened is, hey, we like the Raccoon City outbreak and we know that prints money. So let's get to that part of the story as fast as possible and treat the first part of the story like an afterthought. If you saw the movie, I want to hear your comments down below though. Let me know what you thought of it. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? And if you haven't seen it yet and you're curious about it, by all means, form your own opinion. Don't listen to me. But if you choose to watch it, come back here and leave me your comments. I want to hear your thoughts too.
Okay. They fucked it up is crazy. All right. I've never seen it, so I can't really tell exactly how good this is. Because, let's be honest, I stopped watching live action movies. Live action movies are just not that good anymore. But hey, if you guys enjoyed the quote unquote commentary, make sure you hit that like button. Here's the quote unquote link if you guys are interested in the Chatterino Cappuccino. Hey, it was a wonderful video. Shout out to GamerThumbTV. Good stuff, guy. And I'll see you in the next reaction video, all right? Damn, that's just 3 years ago. Sheesh.